teachers are such champions, showing up for children everywhere and telling them they're smart, they matter, they're worthy. Award-winning journalist Deborah Roberts realized that truly everyone has a story about a teacher or mentor who changed their life. So she wrote a book with a little help from her friends. It's called Lessons Learned and Cherished, The Teacher Who Changed My Life, with contributors like Oprah Winfrey, Deborah Roberts, Brooke Shields, Octavia Spencer, Rachael Ray, and more. We are so excited to have Deborah Roberts here to share more about the inspiration behind this project. Good morning, Deborah. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure. And I tell you, I can't stop talking about teachers. I mean, this book came out a few months ago, and I still get such a kick out of talking about it and sharing these stories.
Well, it's an emotional book to read because I think it takes us all back to when we were in school. Talk about, why the timing was right for you to put this book out and how you decided to collaborate with so many wonderful people.
It's funny you say that. It was an emotional experience for some people. I actually have one contributor, Carrie Shahidi, who burst into tears talking about her teacher because she said she hadn't really thought back to that time in a while and realized what an impact it had had on her. I started this off by thinking about my sixth grade English teacher, Mrs. Dorothy Hardy, who just had a profound impact on me. She had a high bar for excellence, and she demanded, proper grammar and diagramming sentences and learning poetry. And we were all like duly afraid of her. But there was something about her that was also intriguing that I wanted to sort of rise to the occasion and please her. And when she said one time in a very sort of Southern way that, you're a smart girl, you did really well on this test and you're going to do well in life, or something to that effect. And I just remember thinking, wow, Mrs. Hardy thinks I've got something. And then I realized I wasn't alone, because anytime I mentioned that story, other people talked about a teacher who saw something in them. And I thought, you know what, during this time when, as a journalist, of course, I was acutely aware that the teaching profession is going through just a sag in morale and the biggest, dissatisfaction in the job in decades. And teachers are leaving the profession. 58,000 teachers left the profession in the United States this year alone. I thought maybe it's time to actually think about what teachers mean to us and to remind them of how much they matter and how much they really do spark lessons that change lives. And I wanted to get that conversation going, but more than anything else, I just wanted to share these great stories.
And there are so many great stories. And I think that's so interesting that you say, because so many of these teachers that were people's favorites were the hard teachers, the mean teachers, the one everyone was scared of, but they were the teachers who saw the students and lifted them up. And I just think it's so important to realize how much of a difference these teachers make. So what did you pull from your friends all writing their own stories?
Well, I mean, I basically took their story. So I would call them, I would Zoom them, I would just do anything I could just to sit down and have a few minutes with them to hear their stories. And then I would compile them. And what I learned from everybody, whether it was Christy Turlington, the model and activist, Brooke Shields, of course, the model and actress, or Danielle Ballou, the famed French chef, Spike Lee, the director. What I learned from all of these people is it wasn't just that lesson that a teacher taught. Very few of them shared with me a grade on a test or an essay that they really nailed. It was all about a moment or a few moments where a teacher had an impact. Lucy Liu, the actress who, was a first generation Chinese American, and her parents didn't speak English and she was struggling in school, said her teacher showed her kindness. He was really concerned about how she was doing and was she falling behind. That kindness just meant so much to her going forward. And to hear these stories of people saying that they found themselves, they found a confidence in themselves because a teacher saw something in them, I thought was quite profound. And I thought that was something that we could all take something from.
Absolutely. And you actually had you have several chapters of your own teachers, because obviously in different points of your life, there are different people who make a difference. Talk a little bit more about what you hope comes from this book, because another running theme was that teachers just don't get enough credit. They don't get enough love for what they do every day.
Yeah, well, you mentioned my teachers, and my librarian was also a teacher who had a big impact on my life, an educator, because it's not just teachers, it's educators. My librarian, Kathy Turner, who I reconnected with in a bigger way as a result of this book. I'm hoping people will come away with the notion that we need to have a conversation about what's happening right now. Three-quarters of people surveyed are saying that they don't think that teaching is a profession that's worthy of going into. Young kids are saying that they don't really want to go into into the profession. So I'm hoping that we will get a conversation going about how important teachers are, but also, too, a movement maybe going to try to lift some of the restrictions. Right now, depending on your school district, your state, we are hovering over the education system and teachers where they don't feel the autonomy to be able to step out and to teach in ways that they want to. And I think we've got to change that. And I think it's going to take us as a society to value teachers and to make them a priority and to make that known so that maybe we can see a shift there. And also there's an opportunity too for you to give. There's an organization called Donors Choose. You can actually choose to help a teacher fund a project that they're working on or a smart board. You can actually help impact them because we know teachers spend so much of their own money on their classrooms and their students. So I think we need to make them a priority in all kinds of ways, not just in what we think, but what we do.
Absolutely. And, you know, you're a parent, I'm a parent. As parents with our kids, you know, being impacted every day by their teachers, is there any other little things that we can do, you know, to make their lives easier and better, to make them feel seen?
I think we've got to, well, exactly what you said. I think we've got to make them feel seen. I think we've got to be involved. I think we've got to let the teachers know that they have our support. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, if the teacher sent a note home or even wanted to meet with your parents and said, your child is behaving this way, the parent right away took the teacher's word and took the child to task. And let's talk about this. Whereas now teachers maybe don't necessarily feel they have that support. So I think we've got to show teachers support. We've got to work in conjunction with them. They need our support. And, you know, just basically they need to know that we're there and that we want to value what they do. And I think we've lost some of that along the way. And I think it'll go a long way to restoring some of the pride and hopefully enthusiasm in the world of education.
Wonderful. Well, gosh, Deborah, thank you so much for writing this book. Thank you for your time. This is a great gift. Can I just say, if you have a teacher you love, yes, this is a great gift. It's an easy read. It's a beautiful book. Deborah, thank you so much for your time again. We appreciate it. You can pick this up wherever books are sold. Lessons Learned and Cherished, the teacher who changed my life.